I got to talk about the meta news. It's just Kathy Griffin. That whole story is just not important. And the conservatives that I listen to, they keep bringing it up. And, part of that is because if you make money by providing news, then you got to have something to talk about. And so that's the reason many of these people are deciding to talk about Kathy Griffin, is because they have to talk about something. And it's just kind of an overreaction, in my opinion. And I agree with Scott Adams, author of Dilbert, who basically said it was the picture was distasteful. She lives. There's basically two realities in America today. There's one reality where we have a great president, and there's another reality where our president is Hitler. And Kathy Griffin just had a wake-up call that perhaps her reality that Trump is Hitler is incorrect. And Scott Adams goes on to say that this will cause some people to, get up and leave that show, leave that reality, because, they shouldn't go that far. And maybe Kathy Griffin is one of those who will realize she went too far. And, some people will sit back down because that is the reality, that some people believe Trump is Hitler and he's evil and his supporters are evil and all that, and they're Nazis. But it's kind of a waste of breath talking about it. So I'm going to move on to the idea of Twitter. I started using Twitter over the last couple of weeks. It's connected with my website, herolfg.com. That's HEROLFG.com. And I started out by following some of these people I've talked about that I respect, or maybe I used to respect a little bit more, but Scott Adams is one of them. Dr. Jordan Peterson is another. Stefan Molyneux and Mike Cernovich. And I didn't really like Mike Cernovich's response. And I probably wouldn't like Stefan Molyneux's response to the Kathy Griffin situation, just because it may be an overreaction. And I'm not going to worry about it. It's just one thing. Those people say a lot of good stuff, but I realized that, and I also follow Elon Musk, but I realized that I'm really not going to have very much luck communicating directly with those people because they have so many followers. And so what I did is I went out and I started following AL.com and Yellowhammer News, which is basically some more local news reporters. I also followed Senator Arthur Orr, who is pretty responsive. I don't necessarily agree with everything he does. And last time I tried to talk to him, I wanted to record our conversation, and he didn't want to do that, and I respected his wishes. But I followed Arthur Orr, Senator Arthur Orr. I followed, and then from there, I started getting recommendations based on who Senator Arthur Orr follows. So I followed a lot of senators, most of them Republicans. I followed, so I started following some of these people who have less followers, and that's generally the idea. Is I have to find people who want more followers, who think and do outreach and do writing, who are kind of on my level. So I have to find people who are on my level who will interact with me. And so I'll keep targeting people with less followers until I find some people to interact with me on Twitter. But what I did today is I went on Yellowhammer News Twitter, and I found an article about marijuana. And marijuana is one of those issues that I follow. I grew up with marijuana in my life. I grew up shaped by marijuana with a dad who got a felony charge. And marijuana is it's always been powerful, and I've respected it for most of my life. and I've respected a lot of plants and all plants, and I lean towards shamanism. And so, I did a post on HeroLFG.com in response to Yellowhammer News saying that the usage of marijuana in Alabama is about 9.7%, and I just said I disagreed. And my recommendation was that we start putting ballot initiatives out regarding marijuana, and not just like one initiative. I would like to see multiple initiatives, every single ballot, that have increasing amounts of freedom with regard to plants. And so I go through and list out, possible ballot initiatives, or the beginning of a ballot initiative. I did that post, and I mentioned Senator Arthur Orr, Senator Bill Holtzclaw, and Governor Kay Ivey. And if they don't respond, I'll go through and I'll keep mentioning and retweeting other senators, other representatives, until I either get a response or I don't get a response. And so I like Twitter because it's a way for me to publicly hold our representatives accountable. I've been trying to figure out how to do this, and I've had thoughts about doing phone calls and recording those phone calls, doing emails and recording those emails, going and talking with representatives and recording the conversations. And it's, those are ideas to hold people accountable. And so using Twitter and doing it the way I've described, and maybe I'm sure there's a better way to do it, I can hold people accountable. So as far as being someone who wants to be in the news or has to have an interaction with people reporting on news and people who are shaping our world, I'm still trying to figure that out. And I'm just sharing my current strategies. I welcome you to, subscribe to this channel. Go to HeroLFG.com and follow me on Twitter, HERO_LFG. And, that's it for today. Thank you for your time.